Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. We are going to go over something that I meant to go over earlier, but I have honestly just forgot. And on our last video with our CBI covert bumper here, we installed the bull bar, and I noticed the sensor up here, and it clued in that I haven't made this video yet. So what we're going to go over is how you may have to adjust your adaptive cruise control sensor when it's relocated. What I mean by that is when we put this bumper on, the sensor is this little box behind the grill here. With the CBI covert bumper, it gets relocated. They send you a couple brackets. It bolts onto the bolts that actually hold the front camera on right here, and it now sits up behind the grill. Before, it sat down here. The sensor could go through the plastic, but it can't go through steel. And of course, on the bottom here now, we've got our winch and stuff in place, so it just has nowhere to go. Some of the other brands of bumpers you can get for this truck, it sits kind of out here on the front, or I think it may be above here, and they basically just bolt it onto the front. But what people have been having issues with is that when you're driving, it picks it up as malfunctioning. And reason being is the sensors in here are set to a specific level, which is based off the stock truck. So of course, being set to a stock truck, not only is this thing way down here originally, but now we also have our lift on. So it's extra high, plus it's located higher. So what was happening, now keep in mind you have two options to fix this. One, you don't move the bumper and you deal with it. Or two, you can actually go into Nissan and the dealership can actually reprogram this thing to aim where it should be with the lift and relocation. So what I mean by that is, say this is down here and it's supposed to shoot out straight and it would kind of pick up a vehicle and stuff in the road here. But now being up here, it's shooting out straight. And what sets the thing off is because it's going way up here, it's not sensing the road anymore. But it's not all of the trucks that are having this issue. So that's why I wanted to make this video, because mine, I have it up here. I don't use cruise control often, but I have tested it just to test out my theory. And so far, now again, this is just me testing. It's not a professional answer, but it has worked for me. What I've done is I've driven with the lift, with this going up here and all that. I have only ever had the issue where the adaptive cruise control doesn't work once. And that's when I was going quite quickly on the highway and it was raining. So I haven't had this thing readjusted, but when I'm driving on the highway, what I think is happening, now you can see with the brackets in there, this thing isn't tight on the bottom of the grill. It's only bolted on the top. So when you're going fast and you're getting the wind on the front, this thing is doing that. It's vibrating just from the force of the wind. So what I might want to do is I'm going to maybe drill an extra hole just in the plastic and maybe run a zip tie or something, possibly around the grill or something down below, just to hold that tight. Because when I'm driving around slowly or slower on the highway, the actual speed limit, this thing's not flopping around so much, and I've never had an issue where the sensor has gone wonky. It picks it up. I don't know if the pitch on these things is enough that when you lift it up, it doesn't really matter. It still kind of senses it, because like I said, I haven't had the issue other than when I was going quick. One other time it happened, I was going slowly, but again, I was off-road in this thing, and the bumps and everything on the gravel road would make it do that. And then again, it picked it up as the sensor malfunctioning. Doesn't do anything to the truck, nothing fails. You can still drive, nothing else happens. You just can't use your cruise control because it thinks that the sensor is malfunctioning and it won't let you use it because of course it won't work. So if you're having that issue, if you have these either the same bumper as me or possibly another version where this thing's relocated, If you have any play where it's doing this, just try to get it tight, because I'm going to probably say if you can keep that tight, this thing will work and you won't have to go to Nissan and get it readjusted. And again, if it is that vibration that's doing it, you could go get them to realign it for you. And when you're picking up speed on the highway or you're going off road, it's going to do this again, and you're going to end up with the same issue anyways. So if you're one of the unlucky ones where maybe this has happened all the time, and every time you go in the truck, I would say you're probably one of the few that have to go and get it realigned. But if you're like me, where only if you're at a little bit of a higher speed, or if you're on a bumpy road, like I said, off road, there was a lot of potholes and stuff, so the thing's flapping, and then you get the dash right away. It lights up. As soon as you start hitting the bumps, it'll go bing, not working, and it'll start screwing you up. The other thing that could happen, and now this is not only for the adaptive cruise, it's also for the front crash sensors, which are also up there, that little triangle cut out there. There's sensors in the windscreen as well. And when you're driving, say like we're in winter right now, we had a little bit of a dump of wet snow the other day, and it kind of cakes the front of the truck. So when that gets snow piled up on it, or the windshield gets ice and snow, or even like that really misty rain or fog, or you know, anything, if your window hasn't defogged yet and that sensor is blocked in any way, it's going to give you the same message, but not only for the adaptive cruise, it's going to be for the front crash sensors and everything. And it'll beep, it'll tell you on the dash what's going on. But that is what's happening. So don't freak out. It's not broken. If you're driving out and it's really rainy, or if you're off road and everything is getting really muddy and dusty, you'll end up having the same issue. So once you get it cleaned off, or once you get somewhere warmer and the snow melts off, like here in my garage, it's all melted, everything's clean again, everything goes back to working like normal. But like I said, for me, in my case anyway, if you're able to keep that sensor nice and sturdy and not having any of this play, you can see it wiggles quite a bit. I don't want to push it too much because I don't want to break the clips, but it does wiggle like this. So if you can keep that thing more solid, I would say that would probably solve a lot of your issues. And if you are watching this and you're one of the guys where that happens every time you turn on your truck, I'm going to say most likely you got to go to Nissan and get this thing realigned. Just go to the service center. They'll know what you're talking about. I actually inquired at my own Nissan dealership when I brought this thing in for an oil change, and the guy knew exactly what I was talking about. He said, yeah, we can do that, no problem. They just bring it into the shop, and I guess they got their setup there to kind of aim where this thing should be going. So they do that, and they know what they're doing, at least mine did. So hopefully you're lucky enough and you got a dealership like I do. They should be able to fix your problem.